when I won all that money, my father actually came to me crying, worried that these mob guys from 34 years ago were gonna collect from me.
Me and my buddy, we make it all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking. Me and my buddy.
Welcome back, my fellow degenerates, to another episode of the Table One podcast, your favorite podcast for high-stakes poker, behind-the-scenes gambling, the highs, the lows, the cheers, the tears, usually over a couple of beers. But today...
Wow, that sounded rehearsed and practiced.
I definitely thought of it right before we started, it came out smoothly, so I'm not going to have to edit that at all. But today, Art Parman, by the way, you fucked me up, Justin Young, and a very special guest, Joe Bartholdi. That's how you say it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Boom.
How did you know that?
Because I watched some research videos where he said his own name, and I was like, well, he's probably not going to fuck his own name up, so it must not be Bartholdi, like I thought it was.
That's how my father pronounced it. The Italians will tell me, oh, you don't pronounce the H, and it's Bartholdi.
Okay.
But they're just, I don't know.
You happen to be in America, so.
I just go with the third generation Italian father, what he said.
I like it, good.
That's awesome. So for, I'm sure you've watched every one of our episodes. Clearly you have. But just in case you have not, what we typically do is we take our guests back in time to where you were tiny Bartholdi and kind of find your way into this weird world that we call life, that is gambling and poker. So I ask this basically like 90% of the time to people or whatever. Did you grow up like playing games, card games, gambling games with your family at all, or?
Gambling, yes, but just kind of like street gambling, like first one over that fence, $5 a person in high school.
Okay. I thought like this was with your mom and dad and stuff. I was like, ooh.
No.
First one to clean your room gets $5. The other one gets a spanking.
Throwing quarters to the wall
Yeah.
in the high school, street gambling like that, yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
Riverside, California.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's where I was in high school.
And it was just the way of life, or that was just your friends, like, or?
I think it might have been just me. It might have just been me. I don't know where it came from, but yeah, I was a little bit known as like the gambler kid.
Okay.
It's just a little bit.
Well, where did you get it from? You can't just like wake up one day and we're like, I'm gonna gamble. Like I remember when I caught the bug, but it was
probably my father.
Okay.
That's a big part of my story, is that my father was kind of a degenerate poker dealer before I was born.
Okay.
So I don't know what. Oh yeah, my father took me to like the horse track and stuff and let me bet. Yeah. So my father has been in poker, in gambling since the 70s, and yeah, I'm sure that's where it came from. But my recollection is just like taking money from kids in high school.
Fair enough. Where did your dad deal, and at least initially?
In the 70s, before me, he was at all the like the Dunes, the Stardust. I don't know. There's some other ones he lists, but basically all the famous ones back there. He was kind of a bit of a famous poker dealer back in the day. That's actually, I think, one of the most interesting parts of my story is how his story kind of bleeds into mine. So we can go with that.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
But
I'm vested.
yeah. So my father is from New Jersey, and he was safe cracking for the mob. He was, I guess the mob would tell him, here's the house that has a safe, and he was part of the team that would go in there and, steal money from safes or whatever. Something goes wrong, he ends up owing the mob some money. And he knows another mob guy in Vegas and runs to Vegas to escape death or whatever was awaiting for him from the guys in New Jersey. And this ties into my story nicely, because when I won all that money, my father actually came to me crying, worried that these mob guys from 34 years ago were going to collect from me.
He didn't change his name?
No, I have the exact same name as him.
Oh no!
He told me, he's like, they're going to come for you, son, and I just laughed it off, because obviously whatever debt he had, it wasn't like the Godfather movie where it was going to really attach to me and they were going to show up.
Yeah, and just for our listeners out there that don't know Joe as well, you should though. Joe did win like a 25K WPT. I believe it was either the first or second biggest first place in history, and like at that time, I believe somewhere in that kind of range.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So
Yeah, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here.
yeah,
probably.
fair,
I would
fair
just
enough.
be,
But like when he said like the mob might be hunting him, it wasn't because he just won a fucking daily at Bellagio for 20K or something like that. Like it was for like $3.8 million or some shit.
Yeah,
So like
so-
that's
so-
some hunting money. You know what I mean? Like.
I never thought it was serious, but I always thought that was kind of cute that my father was worried that they were going to come after me for his old
Jesus, I would have changed my name.
his old safe cracking debt. And if they showed up, what was I going to do? I was just like, okay, I'll give you some money.
Yeah, what does he owe you? $800? How much was in that safe?
Yeah.
happened?
What year did your dad move from New Jersey to here to escape the?
I just 70s.
Okay, I
have
got
no
you.
idea when it
So
was.
yeah, in 1972,
And
a couple $1,000 is worth about $3 million.
Yeah, and he met my mother out here, and he came out here. He was a poker dealer for the mob, or not for the mob, but he was like, dealing to the mob guys and stuff.
Okay.
He's got many crazy stories from those days. Him and his degenerate friend, they did a little mini, what's the Greek guy? The guy who got all the money for the horseshoe.
It's Archie
the-
Carrot.
Archie.
Oh, the craps guy, the
yeah.
$40 million
Yeah.
craps
And
run.
the
He
part
got
out
every
where I don't
$500
know
check.
Archie's name, because that's like one of the most famous gambling stories. But yeah, my dad did a little mini Archie thing, him and his friend, where they won like 200K in craps.
Jesus.
In the 70s, broke, degenerate gamblers. So back then they were a bit famous for running it up. But
Okay.
Yeah, that's off the
Then
point.
yeah, maybe that's probably where you caught your gambling bug from.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe.
going to take a guess as well.
Yeah, so then he meets my mother out here somehow. I don't really know much about that, but then I guess they moved to California to have a normal life with their kids or whatever, get away from gambling once they started having children.
And how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 2 sisters and 1 brother.
Older, younger?
Older sister, younger brother and sister.
Do they have similar vices at all, or are you kind of the black sheep?
Yeah, no gambling, and anybody else, I don't think. Yeah,
They took it all and concentrated it into you.
yeah.
So what was your dad doing when he moved to Riverside, trying to be upstanding adult?
Just starting a window washing company. I remember that. He would had some company where he would display business cards in people's restaurants. So I remember he was like cutting plexiglass boards in the garage for these you pay me and I advertise for you all around town. I don't know how it works, but just basically general entrepreneurship of the 80s and early 90s,
Staying off the radar and still like
Yeah.
being a go-getter. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're gambling throughout high school, jumping over fences, throwing quarters and whatnot. So was college even on the radar? Were you a good student?
No, Riverside was like very urban, and I kind of just got caught up doing anything but school. And I mean, the school didn't really offer much. There wasn't any like kind of teachers or educational path that seemed challenging or interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I just ended up dropping out and getting in trouble with the law and drugs and dropping out and everything.
Oh, what grade did you make it till?
I think I did 9th grade twice, and then that was it.
Okay, well, count it.
Yeah.
Through 10th, we'll
I don't
say.
know if we'll call that 10th.
So what? If you don't, mind me asking anyway. What kind of drugs? Like, were you dealing, just using,
No, just like
holding?
smoking weed
Oh,
and
okay.
at school.
Normal stuff.
A little bit harder drugs. Everybody in high school in Riverside, there was mushrooms, there was speed, there was cocaine, like everything was around. So,
Were you guys rich or just get some knockoff shit?
It was pre-fentanyl, so they all made it.
it was pre-fentanyl, yes.
Wow, okay. So that's pretty interesting.
So yeah, high school was tumultuous.
Yeah, that seems right.
That's how a 9th grader would say it.
Yeah, so high school was that, and didn't make it to college. Dropped out of high school, and then we ended up coming back to Vegas because nothing was working out for Dad, all these jobs, whatever, and it was like the easiest thing for me to do. They were divorced, by the way, so it was basically just him and me at that point. And I guess the easiest thing for him to do was to come and deal poker game. So that's how I ended up back here.
You had younger siblings though, right? Like your dad just...
They were with my mom. There was
Okay.
kind of like some with the mom. I was with the dad.
I got you.
A little bit of back and forth, but.
So you moved out here with your dad. How old were you when you did that?
I want to say around 17.
Wow. All right.
You know, maybe 17, 16. Yeah.
You're an OG, man. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's cool. So your dad went back to dealing. Where did he deal when he came back?
Different places. I'm not sure where the first place was, but I want to say it was like Boomtown Casino or it's one of the station casinos or something like that. He ended up dealing everywhere.
That's pretty cool.
Did he teach you poker along the way, or did you find out on your own? Or
No, yeah, he didn't really teach me poker. Whenever he played poker, he would sit down and raise every hand for a round and then try another 30 minutes to get a hand and then leave and go play a slot machine. Like he had no clue about what was going on in poker.
It's not a bad strategy. Just be like, I'm super loose and aggressive.
Yeah.
And then just sit back and like, I hope I get aces, hope I get aces.
Yeah. He would play-
but it was limit holding back then, so, or limit everything. So you're just even when you get your rush of cards, you're like, oh well, I got one of those multi-street hands back.
Yeah, and he might have crushed in the round he was playing every hand too. You know?
Yeah, you never know.
All right, so what were you doing when you moved out here then? Your dad's like working like here and there when he can, dealing all over town? Like you're
Yeah,
just
we were-
17, 18 years old? And
Playing pool. There was a pool hall kind of near where we are now.
Griff's?
It's Griff's now. Back then it was Pool Sharks.
Okay.
And yeah, that was a nice thing to be right down the street, walking distance from where we were living. So I would just go to Pool Sharks every day and play pool.
And I don't mean this in a negative connotation, but were you a hustler? Like you knew how to play and you would go there as like an 18-year-old and like win money?
I would play the old guys for $3 a game.
Okay.
There was certain guys who would come in to practice, and most everyone would play for $3 a game, but there was not really any big hustling going on.
So
I met
did
a
you
lot
break
of pool
even?
hustles.
Did you?
I could win it.
Okay.
I was a winner at pool. Yeah.
Okay. Are you still sharp?
I was still pretty good at pool. Yeah.
All right. Well, there goes the later activities I was going to suggest, but that's fine. All right. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I would play pool every day, and Dad was still, being a charismatic degenerate or whatever.
The best kind of degenerates.
Yeah.
Because they can always get a loan. They just get broke, and they know they can just go to their friend and be like, "Yeah, I fucked up."
It's true. If all the charismatic degenerates that I knew went into like sales, they'd just be like number one in their market.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to work for anyone that's a degenerate, so I understand completely.
All right, real quick. Do you have crypto just sitting in a crypto wallet doing nothing? Then you've probably never heard of Gauntlet. Gauntlet.xyz is a billion-dollar research company that manages risk for huge internet platforms like Uniswap, Arbitrum, Jupiter, and a ton of other ones. And how can they help you? They actually curate these things called crypto vaults. And what's a crypto vault? Well, you just put your crypto in, you get an interest rate. The interest rate depends on the supply and demand of that particular token that you put into there. It's kind of complicated, but their algorithms make it like 1,000 poker solvers are working on your side. And you get a return on crypto that was just sitting in your wallet anyway. Here, let me show you how it works. I've got 800 USDC here. I'm gonna put it into this USDC vault. The current interest APY is a little over 9%. So I'm gonna get that for a little bit and I can take it out whenever I want. Now, as you can see, they have a bunch of different vaults, a bunch of different tokens. Do your own research on all of this, which one appeals to you, but definitely don't let your crypto just sit in your wallet doing nothing. It could be here earning for you. So if you've got USDC or USDT, which if you're a poker player, you probably do, you're gonna wanna have it sitting in one of these vaults earning something for you. So head on over to gauntlet.xyz/T1 and it'll take you right to the vault page. You'll be able to check out which one looks good to you. All right, back to the show.
So when did you start tasting poker? I did read online that you were playing underage at some point.
Yeah, somewhere throughout there I started playing, and there was a few spots around town where you could play underage.
Like Boomtown?
Well, at MGM Grand, one little story I remember is I was working in a fine dining restaurant as a bus person, and the bus people dressed the same as the waiters in this restaurant because it's fine dining. You wear a shirt and tie. So I went up to the poker room, and I was asking the poker manager questions about, hey, what do you have here? Oh, you guys playing limit hold'em? oh, cool, yeah, I just started working here as a waiter.
Oh.
And then I left. I just walked off. I put the little seed in his head.
That was
And
planned out.
In the
you're
moment. In the
devious.
moment.
That's
yeah.
amazing. All right, I like
So
it.
then, like 3 days later, I come back. I'm like, "You got a seat open?" And he's like, "Oh, that's that waiter." And of course, you have to be 21 to be a waiter. So I kind of hustled my way into the MGM.
I got you.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you didn't know a whole lot about poker going in, but you knew enough to knew you're underage and needed to kind of finagle your way in there.
Yeah, and there was a few other spots around town. The station casinos, they knew we were underage. You go in there at like 3 a.m.
Gotcha.
They didn't
Just
ask.
didn't care.
Yeah,
So
they just needed to hold the game and keep getting rake.
You're like a underage shell. That's
Yeah,
good. Yeah. So, what were you playing? Like stud, hold'em?
4-8 limit hold'em mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
My first poker experience was 1 to 5 stud with a quarter ante. We used to have this game in town. Everybody would throw out a quarter and then they'd scoop the quarters.
Everybody
into the middle.
ante.
Yeah.
I only have six quarters here.
Like 4 of the 6 people were like old ladies. And I'd never been so nervous at a poker table in my life. I was like the most, because I was probably underage. You know, I had no idea. And I was like, I'm going to play poker. And no blackjack today. I'm going to try poker. And I played a 1 to 5 stud with some old ladies. Yeah.
Were you winning right away? Was it?
I crushed them. Broke the game. I sent them all home broke. You know,
Back to knitting up sweaters for little Timmy. Sorry, Grandma.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
just
God.
kept playing until everyone quit.
That's fucking great. Did you play online at all during the same time?
A little bit after that,
Okay.
I played online.
Sorry, how old are you, by the way?
44.
Oh, okay. Same as Justin then. So you're
Old.
just
You get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're 1,000.
That
But-
question was just for you, right?
What? I'm not that much younger. I'm in my 30s,
No, I mean, that wasn't,
high 30s.
That wasn't for the final production. That was just because you wanted.
Oh yeah, we don't want the people knowing. He's 23, guys. It's a hard 23. City miles. Yeah, no, I was just curious because like trying to get the timeline of when you came out here, if you're playing 1 to 5 stud, the moneymaker boom, like all that kind of coincides with poker growing in Vegas, and you're already here, kind of ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed online. I did play online. When I was 21, I ended up dealing poker at the Horseshoe. At the time, my father was also dealing there, so he got me a job dealing.
So you always pushed him in the string. Don't they do it alphabetical? You just go right behind each other, or how does it work?
Well, it was great. I actually didn't deal very much because back then they would have dealers that would play to hold games.
Oh, yeah.
And somehow I worked my way into being on the top of the list for playing. So I would only have to deal when I got broke. And then I could just like rebuild a bankroll by dealing a few days.
So they pay you like, kind of like they pay waiters like a sub minimum wage to
Yeah,
deal?
it's like $7, $7.75, whatever, taxed, you know. So it was like not much of a check, but I would just come in and play on the clock.
Yeah.
Eat in the employee dining room. I would come in plain clothes actually, and then if they got busy, I would get a tap on the shoulder from the floor who would say, "Hey, we need you," and then I would go get my white shirt, which I had like hiding in the sports book, and then like change into dealer uniform and get to work. So
That's incredible.
Where did you
Yeah.
hide it in the sports book? Like
Well-
stuffed in a chair or something, or?
no, there was like a little mini sports book across from the Horseshoe Poker Room back
Okay.
then. So I just like hung it behind something in there. And I probably knew the guys that were working the sports book. I'm like,
If anybody comes out of here with a shirt, tackle them.
yeah.
So you got to keep 100% of your profits when you were shilling for them? Okay.
You would just play with your own bankroll. And
Dude, that's a great spot. Like you're basically
was
working for
nice.
free, and like in case you go on a downswing, you're
you're
backed up.
Yeah, you show up and grind. If I ever showed up in a work shirt, everyone would kind of look over their shoulder and know,
Hard times.
Joe fucking blew his bankroll at the Mirage again.
So during this time, like to that point, like, did you have any vices? I mean, it's got to be fucking impossible being.
Yes.
The better
Yes.
question
Yes, I
is,
had
What-
did
what
he
did
not
you
have,
have?
yeah,
Yeah,
did
fair
he
enough,
not
yeah,
have
yeah.
any vice?
I could imagine being in Vegas with even a scratch of money as a 21-year-old. I'd be broke every morning, I think.
Yeah, or a 20-year-old with a little charisma.
Yeah, fair. Oh yeah, I got you. That I can do. Speaking of vices,
And then I'll tell you about the vices. Yeah, it wasn't just poker that got me broke over and over again. Okay, so another interesting that happened during those times, when I was dealing at the Horseshoe Casino, the entire casino got shut down for not having enough money in the cage to back up the chips. There's some law about the percentage of money you need on hand. There was some internal drama, and they figured out they didn't have enough. Gaming came in and shut the whole casino down. Wow. And I was dealing, and we all went home. And then I started playing online right then.
Okay.
How long was the shutdown for? Do you
I
remember?
think it was like 3 weeks, 2 weeks or
Okay,
something.
so
But I
it's still
never went
significant
back.
though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never went back. I somehow made it with poker after that.
Oh, a little 3-week bankroll spin up?
Yeah, like sweaty party poker grinding.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Like just like super small stakes, multiple tables of party poker.
So yeah, two things. What was your screen name?
Ah, yes, good.
Oh, and party poker?
Yeah,
No clue.
Come on, really?
Yeah, I didn't play it. I unfortunately, like anytime I got money together, I would rather go play big live.
Okay.
And I missed all of online. It was like there for me to become a serious online player and make $1 million a year or whatever was possible. But I learned poker playing live, so I just more naturally ended up doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think actually those few weeks right after the horseshoe closed was probably like the most like everyday grinding I did. But then once I got up to 5,000, 10,000, I just was a live player.
Just cashed it out right out, and we're like, all right, this is real money now.
Yeah.
So when you
fucked
built up the
that one
roll,
up.
you have whatever 5 or 10K in your pocket. Like you don't go back play 4-8. No one's that responsible. Like you
No,
find like
no,
a 15-30 game or something. Or?
There was a whole chain of games back then. The lowest game in town was at the El Cortez, and I'm pretty
I
sure
played there.
I'm pretty sure the buy-in was $15. It might have been 20, but that's where you'd go like if you were super broke and your dad just came home with 100, and he might give you 20 because he had faith in you.
Hypothetically, yeah, gotcha. All right.
That was step one. So you grind El Cortez for like, hopefully not more than 2 days. You know, you get it up to like 80.
Okay, love it so far.
Game number 2 was like downtown 4-8s. They were at the Golden Nugget or the Horseshoe.
Okay.
I think there's like $60 buy-in for the 4-8 limit. And my $60 4-in limit buy-in was great.
That's what
I was turning that into $300 to $600, way more than most people.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then after you did that for a while, the bigger game was the Mirage 2040.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the next step. There was nothing in between a 4-8 and a 36.
There was an 816 at the Bellagio.
Okay.
You could play, but usually.
Oh, that's insane. You got to like 4-8 it up, and then all right.
Oh,
here's my load.
There's a classic. There's the 1020 at the Horseshoe.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
big game at the Horseshoe was a 1020. I forgot about that.
That's the
yeah.
first one I played in 2004. Like
Yeah.
or like first one when I thought I was good at poker anyway.
Yeah, I have some stories with that game too. There was a time where I was underage and couldn't play that game because my father worked at the Horseshoe, so we didn't want to like fuck up his job.
Yeah. You don't want to shit where you eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you. Or,
Shit where your dad eats.
yeah, that's right.
That was your kind of spin? You would do that, or you
Spin
would
it
play
up, yeah.
online, or?
Yeah, online wasn't as big of a thing. I wish it was.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of online. I remember specifically when the Horseshoe shut down, I used online to kind of like secure liftoff, I guess you would call it.
Secure funding.
Yeah.
And we're off.
But yeah, I missed online and just played live. But
So were you? Did you dabble in tournaments at all? I'm sure, like when you're underage, it's impossible. Don't even want to mess with that stuff. But like once
Yeah.
you turned 21, did you like start dipping your toes in the tournament market?
a little bit, not too much. I mean, even when I won the WPT, it was like an afterthought to even play it.
Okay.
The cash games were so good. I was just focused on cash. I went over there to look at how many people were signed up. It was like more than 600. So then I was like, oh shit, I got to play this. You know what I mean? It was like it
Can't be
was an
worse than
afterthought.
half of that.
Yeah, it was like, oh, something's happening here.
All right, so yeah, might as well get into that now because it's not too far in the future. This is 2005, if my memory serves, that the WPT, or 2006, somewhere in that range, right? The one that you won.
2006.
2006. So you're just grinding cash. You're doing okay for yourself. Actually, no, I don't want to jump that far ahead because like
One more thing about the 1020 at the Horseshoe. When there's two other things that need to be told back then. My father was friends with a real old school gambler named Carl McKelvey.
Okay.
And once they found out that I was into poker, he gave me all his old poker books. This is how I learned how to play. He came to the Horseshoe with a shopping bag with Theory of Poker, the yellow book, Hold'em for Advanced Players, and also Mason Mammoth's book, whatever.
2+2 founder, right?
Yeah.
I think I have all those books.
Yeah, it was like the only 4 to 5 books. There was like a stud book. It was
Like
the only
limit
like,
hold'em focused, right? A lot of that, what you just said.
well, there was
I mean,
there was one stud game. There was like Mason Mammoth had this like book that was essays on different types of poker.
Okay.
But yeah, that was what got me started.
Cool.
You just grinded those books until you felt like you could take a shot?
Well, the books blew me away because at the time I'm just playing poker like, okay, we sit here, we try to start with some big cards and we try to line up with those ones in the middle and then we start blasting. and then
That's kind of what the books say, by the way.
It's not too far off. You had most of it figured out.
And then
It's nice that you start with the big ones.
No, those books, the theory of poker was just like, whoa, this game's so complicated and deep. And plus I had no other strategy games in my history. So I didn't know how deep like a game could even go.
Fair, yeah.
So that was like,
on who
yeah,
could jump over the fence.
That was my
before
first realization of like depth of strategy and balance and whatnot. So that was exciting back then. And yeah, Carl Kelvey is a cool character too. He's friends with like Bobby Hoff and like played the early World Series, like real old school guy.
Okay.
And then I guess my dad just said, oh yeah, the kid thinks he's a poker player now. So then he came with his books and said, well, you better read these if he's gonna do it.
You want to actually be one?
Yeah.
Just a quick break here, guys. Are you tired of playing with players like this? Not this.
No,
like this? Or this?
Or do you want to play with players like this?
Oh, wait. If you like having fun at the poker table, Table 1 is the game for you. We play high stakes, no limit, 100 blinds. And if you want to get into the game, it's actually super easy. We have a website, table1.vegas. You just go to the website, you click get a seat in the game and fill out the form. It's that easy. It's your name, it's your phone number, it's the date that you're here, and I will personally reach out to you.
And it's only $5K minimum buy-in. Run it up at 2.5 and join us.
All right, so before we get ahead to 2006, because I did mention this before the podcast started. When I was an engineer back home and the main event coverage, even Robert Varconi year was like huge deal to me. I was just like, this is amazing. I could watch poker on like cable that I get, and I just it's a game I can watch. And I was just like, oh man, this is great. I want to be a poker player at some point. But I believe the following year, or maybe even the year after that, the crew got formed, or at least it was publicized that you guys were a force to be reckoned with. And like, whatever, Scott Fishman, I think maybe won 2 bracelets that year, something like that. Brett Youngblood maybe won 1 or like made a couple final tables. And you were obviously there, like in the background a lot, but like you were mentioned during all the coverage and promotion of it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go all the way down the rabbit hole, but I do want to know how like the crew got formed and
Yeah, go a little down the rabbit hole, because as a 38-year-old youngin', I gotta know what the hell you're talking about. What is the crew?
Yeah, I think the crew was, the coverage by ESPN back then hyped up the crew story because Dutch went deep with Moneymaker.
Oh, that's right.
And it was like part of their production to make more out of it than it was.
This Dutch Boyd.
Actually,
for those,
no,
for
that's
those
wrong.
who don't
That's
know.
wrong. The crew didn't exist when Dutch went
Right,
deep.
he didn't. It was the following year where like
The crew was created by Dutch when he won that money.
right. So how did Dutch create the crew? How are you swooped in and
Dutch, Dutch he's the creative genius in a way.
He's definitely a genius. For those that don't know, Dutch Boyd went to law school when he was 15.
Yeah,
Missouri?
Just a fucking.
he was super early to
Outlier.
having like an online
yeah, he started
poker
online
site.
poker stuff too.
Did he?
GameSpot. What was it called?
So
It was before Paradise Poker.
Yeah. You should read his book, by the way. It's actually quite good. But he gets quite in depth about all that stuff. But it's been probably 15 years since I read it.
Fun fact about Dutch Boyd: only time I've ever played poker with him was at the final table of that Limit Hold'em 6 Max that he won. That I got like 5th or 4th in. And he still remembers me to this day because he is a genius with a giant brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to suck his dick too much or anything like that, but Dutch Boyd he was a stranger to me, but the first time I got to hold a World Series of Poker bracelet, and my dad was with me too, and he let my dad like wear it as well. Okay, and we won't suck his dick too much longer, but either way, now that we're done.
Yeah, that guy tried to sue me. I'm not trying to hype him up at all.
No, I know.
I just think he's
Well,
an
we wanna get to
interesting,
there.
he's an
We'll get to that.
interesting character.
No, he is. So, like, how do you get?
I've met plenty of crazy people with no charisma at all. Dutch has like off the charts charisma and kind of like that extra, that
Terrestrial type
je
of
ne
way.
sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi, yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, like he's supposed to be
There's no
autistic, but
word
somehow
for
he's
it.
not.
Yeah.
Said that like an 11th grader. That was nice.
That's good.
But I want to say one more thing about the horseshoe, because this connects to the WPT victory, to the whole reason I had the ability to play the WPT, Joe Cassidy. When I would get broke, during those days, I got broke many times in many different ways. One funny way I got broke is I showed up to the Mirage tournament, like a $340 weekly tournament, and I got there like an hour early because I took the bus from downtown to go play this tournament. So during that hour, I was like, well, I'll just sit at the bar right there and play this little slot machine. And I get stuck like 400 in the slot machine. And now I'm fucking tilted. And I go straight to high limit blackjack and lose like 6,000, my whole bankroll.
Oh no!
I just showed up for a $300 tournament. I was like a little grinder. I was trying to do what's right. This is the best tournament of the week. Just broke before the tournament started. So I just played the tournament with my only money.
Oh, so you got down to your last 340, but you're still fired in
I
the
couldn't
tournament.
get my ticket back. No, it was already.
Oh, it's
I
already
bought in. I bought in, and I was just killing time for it to start, and just lost everything.
I'd like to ask how you did in that tournament, but I know for sure that you probably busted, and you might have been the first one to bust.
Let's just say I won the tournament, just
Sure,
because
yeah.
I don't remember. I could have.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, how'd you get back in action afterwards?
Yeah, I got
must have won the
first place
tournament.
for like 1,700. Yeah, it was great.
That's awesome.
saved
Congrats.
saved everything.
So how'd you link up with Cassidy? Because he was already kind of I don't want to say a big deal, but he was a name even back in 2004-ish time, 2003.
Well, one good thing I did after I got those books, and I was rereading them. I had them pretty much memorized. When I didn't have money, I would sit on the rail at the horseshoe and watch the 10-20 limit game and play along. And I would like, as if I was in the game and it was 1,000, 2,000. I was sitting there like playing. I'm just on the rail. And I would do that because I just had nothing to do, and I was just getting ready for the next time I got some money. So I was like, that's when the time I was actually into poker, you know. I was learning, and I would just watch this game. And then occasionally Joe Cassidy, when he had time away from college, would come and play in that game. And I'm sitting on the rail and noticed right away, okay, this kid's an actual poker player.
He's doing something different than everybody
Yeah,
else.
because I was becoming an actual poker player. I was reading the theory of poker and trying to understand how to apply it. And their actual poker players were few and far between. So when two of them would cross paths, they would just automatically talk to each other.
Dogs sniff each other.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So I approached him right away because I could tell he was thinking. And the 10-20 at the horseshoe back then was like tight old guys and loose fish. There was no real regs that were good. There was some good regs at the Mirage 2040. There were some good regs at the Bellagio 3060, but not really downtown in the 10-20. So when Joe would come play that, I would talk to him and say, hey, I see what you're doing here. And we became friends back then, and I guess my awareness of his skill led to him being able to invest in me later and back me in the WPT and stuff.
So you formed the friendship then, but like he didn't back you for a while after that.
No,
right?
it was just years later.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
what a connection to make.
Yeah, it was a weird connection because I was just like this son of a dealer on the rail, just watching the game for like 4 hours straight.
But I mean, to your credit, you put yourself out there. You talk to the guy. You're like,
Yeah,
I
I
mean, he
mean-
didn't have to talk to you. You know, you're just the rail bird in his eyes. You know, sitting there,
Yeah.
and you just come up to him and make your own luck, so to speak, and
Yeah.
network with him, and that's great, man. That's crazy. Did you guys talk a lot of poker after that, or you just kind of
Not
when he
really.
would be in town?
Just
you
kind of
would-
made the connection, and when he was in town, maybe we played some together. Later I would play that game. So I don't
Sure,
know.
bankroll influx during those
Yeah.
years.
So clearly the bankroll was in flux, like leading up to the WPT. And how does one even reach out about like being back for a $25,000 tournament? Like, I mean, that seems...
No, I put up half the money for that.
Jeez.
I just sold half. Joe had backed me like a year before.
Okay.
He had sent me to Mississippi to play tournaments, and I just won. Like I got like second place in like the third one I played. And
Tunica? Yeah. It's got
Yeah,
the
I
Tunica,
just like
yeah.
instantly made us money, and I was like, okay, I'm done being back. I'm on my own now.
I'm the perfect player again.
yeah, no, I'm fine.
It's giving me, personal flashbacks and like Neil Farrell flashbacks where he's just like, every time he got like just enough money to play again, he would just play, but like he would always be open to like selling action too. And by the way, guys, criminally underwatched episode, Neil Farrell, watch that one.
Please do.
And like and subscribe to this one because this one sounds like it's going to be great too. So, all right. So you would just instantly go back on your own dime, like after you would make any
I
kind of
was
money.
on my own when the WPT came,
Okay.
and I probably had like 100,000 or something, but I wasn't gonna put up 25,000 for one tournament.
Sure.
I mean, 12.5 is still like a huge
Yeah, but the
jump.
games were so good. It was fine.
You couldn't
That's like
lose.
4 days
It
work.
was fine. It was like the best 10, 20 games ever,
Yeah. You just had to take 2 months off from whatever
Yeah.
vices
I was
you were
like,
into then.
it was
yeah.
2 days work. I was gonna win 5K a day for the next 2 days and get it back.
Yeah, on a bad day, you'd break even probably.
Yeah.
Well, geez, you should have put 100% of yourself up then. My
Yeah,
God.
come to think of it.
God, what an idiot. So you decided you wanted to play. You're gonna put up 12.5.
You said it was an afterthought. Well, how did that kind of play out? You must have thought about.
I wasn't really on the tournament scene. I was just going to the Bellagio every day to play 10-20. Now this tournament series was at the Bellagio, and I kind of just realized that it was going on the day it was going on, and walked over to the ballroom to see for myself how many people had registered. Yeah. I was like, let's see if this thing's good. Maybe I'll play it.
And it sounds like it was good.
Yeah, it was like 600 people for 25,000 each. It was like 12 good players in the whole field.
That sounds right. I think I was in the field.
Yeah, I was counting you. You were in
No.
the 12.
I don't think I was good back then. But like, it wasn't hard to be profitable. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing. It was like, oh, I don't have to put in that much work, and still, as long as I'm not.
Yeah, people still folded their big
What do you
blind
mean?
back then.
Now,
sorry, I was
you're,
great.
now you're
Sorry.
knocking me down a notch.
No.
It was very hard to be profitable.
The funny thing about what you just said is like 100% true for me. My best poker sessions, poker tournaments, anything that I've done well in has been like an afterthought where I'm just like, I wasn't going to play this tournament, but I played it. So,
Yeah.
and then I found a table and I got whatever. Like,
Yeah.
even the one we were talking about before with Dutch Boyd, I accidentally played it. It was a 6 max on the WSOP schedule and 2,500 6 max. I'm like, oh, obviously I'm going to play this. And then I sit down and sign up and it's limit hold'em. I'm like, oh, well, I'm here. I'm not going to
doesn't have limit
unregister.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just,
It's better than what happens to everyone in the main event where you get excited about it
Yeah.
for a couple weeks
Yeah.
and then you just blast off all your chips in the most retarded way because it's like,
it's like the best people you meet, the expectations are low and you meet it and you're like, oh, this person's actually really
Yeah.
cool versus like somebody hyping someone up and like, it's like that old saying, never meet your heroes, you meet them and you're like, oh, you're just a regular guy like me. Actually, you're kind of lame, So, but anyways, back to the actual event. Let's
where
get the
are we?
rundown.
Keep us on track here, Josh.
I'll do my best, but whatever. And again, let me just say, like 25Ks in 2006 were unheard of. I mean, like Bellagio kind of like reached out of the
went for
depths.
it.
Yeah, they're
They were
just
like-
like
That was
like,
the Triton back then.
Yeah, no, I mean,
there
it was
no big
like,
tournament.
10Ks were even like tough. Like there was a handful around like the world or whatever, but like it wasn't that many of them. So a 25K it was just like no one's gonna play this type thing, and like they ran it, and I think the first year was the year before you won it, and I think that's the year Mortensen won, and it was this massive number or whatever, and they got so many people, and then
that only set the bar at a certain level for the next year.
It really was like this new shiny toy in like the poker community, and like everyone, if you had 25K, you would play it. If you didn't, you would beg, borrow, and steal in order to play it. And like to his point, there was like not that many good players. It was just every table was like, I don't know who anybody is, and I've been in this town for a couple of years or whatever. It was a great tournament.
I did have to battle with Patrick Antonius for a while at the end there. He was on my left, and I was, we had like 4 tables left, and I was trying to open a lot because most of the players were very tight, and Patrick just flatted every one of my opens on my left. And on the 4th one, I just remember I was like laughing. I just laughed. I raised, he called again, and I was like, oh my God. Which, shows I was in good spirits to just be comfortable enough to be laughing at this strategic play he was making on me of like.
Well,
you didn't need a 3-bet back then. Everyone else behind you would just fold anyway.
Exactly, that is true.
And then I flopped a straight and quit.
Yeah. So yeah, that was gonna be
I flopped a straight and checked.
as you're supposed to do in 2006. It's just like,
yeah. I don't have it, I bet. I have it, I check. Poker solved.
yeah, but like it worked every time though. It didn't matter.
I flopped a straight, and then I was like, is it on me? There's nobody else that wants to bet right now? Are you sure there's not somebody over there?
I have to use the bathroom, guy. If you just want to bet, like,
Big blind,
I'm
you want your
probably
cards
done.
back? It was pretty cheap to get in.
Nobody else bet. Are you sure? Can we go around again?
So at what point did first place start hitting you a little bit, or like the cash that you were about to make like start hitting you? Like, I mean,
Luckily it didn't until after it was over, I just kept playing.
Even like the day before the final table, you weren't just like, wow, 3.8 up top and I'm already guaranteed whatever, 500K or whatever it was?
My best skill is separation
Fuck
from
yeah.
money and pressure.
Hell
For
yeah.
sure, that's the only thing that's kept me alive is separation from the reality of it. This is also a thing that can make you fail a lot too.
Sure, of course.
But it's like that two-edged sword,
Yeah. ICM's for poor people. That's
No, I didn't think about it at all. I was just thinking about how everyone played and what I was supposed to do. And I just played comfortably until the very end.
Yeah, they're locked in. And like, I don't know if you can like squeeze in this video, but there's a great video of like your friends lifting you up and kind of like carrying you around after the victory, which is like, it's the coolest fucking thing in the world.
My friend TJ he's a genius in a way. And he thought of that, and that was so perfect.
It really was. It was.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that, and I was like, I have to rewatch that. And I watched it again. I was like, I have to rewatch that again.
The best inside story about that is that he told everyone when he wins it, we're going to lift him up. And when he went to go do it, they forgot the plan. So then initially, it was just him hugging one of my legs and pulling up one of my legs all alone. And I was just like this. And then he's like yelling at everybody else. Like, guys, we're gonna lift him up. Yeah.
The plan!
I just look like a rapist right now.
So if you look closely, it's just one guy tugging on a leg, and I'm like,
I need that to walk. Please, don't pick it up.
That's so fucking funny.
And my favorite part of that story is that I won't name names, but somebody tried to copy that celebration a couple years later.
It's like an homage or trying to steal it?
No, they just try to like.
All the best things are stolen.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but still.
No, but that's my favorite part is that somebody thought that was cool enough to try to do it themselves.
Do it as an homage and just be like, Bartholdi.
Yeah.
Just like, whatever.
The crowd served victory.
Dude, that was cool as shit. I hope you find that video art. Okay. So now you're 26 years old and you just have half of $3.8 million. Is that fairly accurate?
I swapped 10% with a kid I was playing 10-20 with during the time, and he instantly busted out. Like sometime before the money, we both had big stacks, so I did another trade. So yeah, I had 40%.
Oh, jeez, that's still a lot of money. So
$1.5
million or whatever?
$1.5 million.
So,
in chips. They paid you in chips back.
course
then.
they do.
Everybody bought it in chips, and I just had chips, It's pretty crazy.
So,
Down at a rack.
Please tell me about a 26-year-old with $1.5 million in chips in Las Vegas.
Well, the thing is that, I mean, it would have been great for me to quit playing poker for a little bit, square things up in my mind, buy some Bitcoin, whatever. But
Old 2006 Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean, it was around-ish.
poker was booming at the time.
Yeah, it was.
So all of my friends and everybody, all they wanted to do every day was go play poker. So there was really like there was no easy way for me to get away unless I just wanted to go like do my own thing and like reset my mind to this new wealth. So I just kept playing poker every day and didn't play well.
The same game, or were you like playing now the 30-60 and 20-40, or were you venturing into
Well,
bigger stuff?
10-20 was the main game going.
You're still playing that? Okay, good. All right.
But there was 200, 400 games that were good
There you
that I
go,
played in. I played some big PLO. I was playing everything, yeah.
Yeah, and I call
The
it
games were very good.
Yeah.
The games were very good.
I call it winner's remorse
because
for
of you.
myself, but like, but yeah.
Not partially, yeah.
Yeah, but like, yeah, you get that feeling of like, I'm really good at poker. Did you not just see I sacked my way into winning all this money? Clearly, I can beat you idiots. Like, it's super easy, and like, you get there with all the confidence, and everyone else is like, oh my gosh, I hope the money never runs out.
I don't think it was really that. I mean, I was still a favorite in the games I was playing in, but I just didn't care enough to fold, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game,
I think we're saying
like,
the same thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely
in a
something to
way,
be said
yeah.
about the winner's remorse, the like trader's high, or like
Yeah.
there's plenty of research to some degree, like Market Wizards and like all those books where like almost every person who after their like biggest upswing, it's like almost a guarantee that your next session, several sessions, poker, whatever you're into is going to be down.
I guess we're alluding to it, but we haven't said it explicitly. But we're talking as if the audience already knows that, yes, I lost all that money back.
Oh, I didn't say you lost
I mean,
it all.
Let me
I'm
just tell you,
saying-
after like, I think my top 3 scores in my life, I went on massive downswings every single time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Same.
to Art's point, like it's,
Another really interesting thing happened to me also. Before the WPT, nobody really thought I was good. I didn't carry myself the way people thought of good players. They just thought I was a wild kid. But I'm sitting here reading The Theory of Poker 5 times in a row, and I was actually good. And that unknown factor made it like easy to kind of get level up on everyone.
Sure.
Because they couldn't see it, but I could see who was good and not. And then after the WPT, everyone thought, oh, here comes that really good player. This guy's fucking
crazy,
sick.
right?
Yeah.
So it just like, it kind of fucks you mentally. Obviously, if I just had more discipline and played solid, it would have been fine. But a weird thing, it's much easier to win when nobody respects you and they try to bluff you in an obvious way. You know what I mean? They don't understand what you're doing. So yeah, that changed too. Like, reputation does make it a little bit different.
Yeah, there's definitely an underdog advantage for sure. And people having complete unknown, and they just play their normal game, whereas like now it's Joe Bartholdi
And
won the thing.
And we obviously, we know that too. Like, if you're an actual thinking player, you should have the advantage up against even the best the first time you duel with them. Like, Phil Ivey is going to treat you like the average
random,
guy.
yeah.
He can't treat you like you're smart the first time, because most people are not smart.
Yeah.
So you should be able to win the first few hands strategically against anyone
Until he
better than
figures
you.
you out or
Until they're like,
whatever.
okay, this guy's actually thinking. And
changes
then,
his
and then
read.
and then you're fucked. Then you really have to battle.
All right, really quick, guys. Phenom Poker is out now. It is live. If you want to get extra tokens, 100 extra tokens, and if you want to support Table 1, just go to joinphenompoker.com, and that will help us. Fill in your information, and you'll be on with us.
Tons of people on there, tons of action, especially until Art and I will run out of money, I think.
That's true. And we are doing some sort of free roll. Anyone who signs up through our link, we're going to eventually reveal the details on Twitter, but if you sign up through our link, we are going to go all in up to 10 times at $100 no limit until somebody wins the $100. We might stack you 10 times and you'll lose 1,000 in this promotion, but we are trying to give away 100. So if we accidentally stack you 10 times, thanks. Thanks for playing. All right, join phenompoker.com. Now! Okay, so what was that next?
Yada,
we
yada,
alluded
yada.
we alluded to it, and then we explicitly said it. But how were the next few years?
I got broke a bunch, and then I won the WPT, and then I got broke a bunch after that.
How was that run from fucking, I mean, obviously horrendous, but shout out to whoever in the YouTube comments says you keep getting people on who, oh, I just win and then I keep winning, or I go broke and then I'm crushing again. But like, how is that, that moment, not moment, but that fucking run from, highs to lows? Let's bring it to the somber part of the podcast where we talk about going from 1.678 million Joe Bartholdi to all the vices.
It happened over quite a few years, so it wasn't too drastic.
Okay.
It wasn't like I was broke the next week. Yeah. I mean, I had a sick house for a while, a nice car, did some traveling, was able to go play any tournament or whatever. So there wasn't really like a drastic downfall.
That's almost worse. I've been in a similar spot where I've had like $1 million a year and then I break even for 3 years, 2 years, and it just like money go down, It's just like, and you're like, at first nothing matters, and then you're like, oh, all of a sudden I'm pinching pennies over like trying to buy miles on my credit card to make sure I don't spend too much on this trip.
Money's not free anymore. Yeah, the euphoria washes away a bit. But yeah, I mean,
one famous story of mine towards the end. You guys will like this one. When I had like 120,000 left. Mm-hmm. I was playing at the Aria in the Wynn. I had a box at both places. And I took 60 and put it away at the Aria box because I was playing mostly at the Wynn. And I told myself, just take 60 and pretend like this is all you have.
Gone.
That way I don't play too high, and I can just build up this 60. This was me trying to be a little wiser with my last 120.
Sure.
Towards the end of the 1.5 million.
It actually makes complete sense to me. Yes.
Right? I was like, if I got 120, I might lose 30 in one day. But if
60.
I only have 60,
15 can't happen.
I might lose only 10 in one day. So I put 60 at the Aria, and I just go to the Wynn every day and grind whatever it was back then, probably 5-10 no limit or whatever. And then months later, maybe even a year later, I lose the 60 and completely forget about the Aria 60. And I think I run out of money. I sell my car. That money doesn't last either. Completely out of money. I'm so out of money, I need that $100 deposit from the Aria box. Before I get to borrowing money from people, let me go close this Aria box and get the $100. I go to Aria like 2 in the morning just to close my box to get the $100 back. I open it up and there's 60,000 in there that I forgot about.
That's the best story I've ever heard in my life.
I was broke.
You
in my
sold
mind,
your car.
I was broke for probably 4 months, playing fucking 2-5, 1-3, whatever, just grinding up a little bit of money for like 3 to 4 months when I just had 60,000 sitting at the Aria that I didn't know about.
It's probably good for you though, right? I mean, in all honesty, like, not for you. I mean, for myself, like when I get to those spots, sometimes you need a mental like reset, like plug it out, put it back in or whatever. And like if you knew you had that 60,
that 60
it might have
is
been
gone
torched.
too. It didn't work. It didn't do anything. What the fuck?
Sorry, I'm not trying to fucking just like bait you into fucking.
Nothing has
stuff.
changed. I can get broke and just keep making money. It's the same.
So you find the new 60, and it's not like you're just like, oh, sweet, now I can just go back and do what I was doing before.
Oh, it was the craziest feeling ever. I instantly called Huck Seed because I thought he would understand. And so I looked around the poker room just to see anyone I knew to tell them what just happened.
Just like candid camera, like you just be like, you're being punked right now.
No, I never had the feeling where I wanted to like find someone I knew more in my life. I was just like looking around. It's like 4 in the morning. I didn't know anybody. Just somebody to tell.
Yeah.
I just found 60,000 I forgot about for 3 months, 6 months, whatever it was.
That's so good.
So then I just get on my phone and call Huck. And I'm like, Huck, I didn't know this money. I found it. And he's like, you know what he tells me? Oh yeah, I did that before.
Of course he did. Let you have that special moment.
He was getting staked in LA for a long time and just thought he had nothing, so he had to get staked. And then he went and opened up a box and he had like 100,000 in there he forgot about.
Oh my God, that's only gamblers.
Yeah.
Only a certain type of gambler.
Yeah, only
Like
certain type of gamblers.
Yeah, not you.
Today's gambler doesn't feel that
No,
way at
no.
all.
Modern gamblers that have
real-
spreadsheets. and
Only
stuff.
real gamblers. I mean, I don't even put myself in that bucket. And the same thing on a micro scale happened to me. I went fucking totally busto. I was at 510 with my last 3,000, as one does, and and I lost. And I went home, no money left. And I've told this story before on the podcast, but I was like putting on a new pair of jeans. Like actually, that's not true. Let me back up. I was totally broke, and I went down to the strip. And I had seen on eBay that people sell like dollar chips from casinos for like $2. I'm like, oh shit, I'll sell a 30 pack for 60. Fucking, that's double my money. Lose the shipping, fine. I fucking walked the entire strip, and I have bad ankles just as Justin does, and I fucking am in pain. I spend fucking hours collecting $1 chips from these casinos,
Nice,
going
bro.
up and down the strip. And I bring
I
them home.
didn't know. I thought you were a straight new generation. I thought you were a pure new generation gambler. That story made me like you a lot more. Now I know. Yeah.
So
you're one of us.
One of us. So I go down, I get all these chips, I fucking whatever, I put an ad on eBay. I get a couple nibbles. I send a couple $1 chips out over the course of a couple weeks. I'm like, oh, this ain't a great business. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I put on a pair of jeans. I find in the little fucking coin pocket a flag.
Yeah.
A little 5K chip.
I found some flags too before. Yeah, that's
Took
awesome,
it right to
yeah.
510, and I'm back, baby.
Well, you got to see what hard life was like, and you're like, oh, never again, at least for 6 months.
Jacks are better in this 510 game.
That's a great story for you to have in your back pocket. If any of your
coin
podcasts,
pocket.
when your podcast guests tell a story that's kind of sad and they start feeling bad about themselves, you just tell that one, and then they go like, okay, if this guy was gonna sell $1 chips for $2, I guess my life's not that bad either.
I'm definitely net down though on chips. I bought chips from casinos that don't exist anymore. I got
Some that are discontinued,
$800.
I'm sure.
I got $800 in like Hard Rock chips that the Hard Rock doesn't exist anymore because somebody came and like
I
wanted to
see,
play
yeah,
poker.
yeah.
And anyway, net down on buying chips as it turns
I
out.
have a Virgin $500 chip. You want that? No? Anyone? Okay.
Okay, so I told the safe deposit box story. That was definitely.
Dude, actually, I had heard that story before.
Exactly.
And it
People-
was so
people
much
hear that
better
one.
than I was expecting it to be.
Oh, good, yeah, good.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm hoping that one. That was one of the. There's other stories I've forgotten for sure, but that was one that people know. Like,
Dude,
that's the one I'm most.
not
famous
enough
for.
people, and now a few more will. That is like
Dozens of people. Literally dozens. will
literally
now know this.
dozens.
This is actually just for us. I don't know if you know that.
It's not recording. We're just talking to each other.
We're gonna hang out anyway and drink. Okay. So obviously there's some a lot of broke times or whatever, and like I'm not trying to like commiserate or anything like that, but like through going broke, there's usually I don't know like rise out of the ashes or like good gambling stories that kind of get you back on your feet. Do we have any of those to like kind of get the audience back on track?
Let's see. Back on track, like rebuilding stories.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, like,
Basically, just tell us what happened after that.
Yeah.
That's what we want to know.
After the WPT money was gone,
yeah,
And the box money.
and the box money,
and the box
and the
money.
car.
The car.
What kind of car was it?
Lexus GS350.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I don't know why I
Nothing
was
too
hoping you would
fancy.
say like a.
Honda Accord.
Yeah, I
Ferrari
was kind of hoping
F350.
for like a Tercel
No,
that you
nothing
got like
too crazy.
$1,000
I bought
for.
like a pretty smart. I love that car though. So smooth and dependable.
Just like you.
Yeah, it was a compensation car. It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean, degenerate gambler? Look at my practical car choice here. If I was a degenerate, I'd have like a Lamborghini or something. What the hell? I feel like the trauma of losing that million has blocked out some of my memory.
How's Joe Cassidy doing?
Yeah.
Did his million spin up? Is he still happy?
I think Joe Cassidy is a man of mystery. Nobody really knows what he does,
Oh,
but he
shit.
seems to have like more money than everyone. And
He's a very intelligent man. I know
Yeah,
that.
very
That's,
smart,
I know
very-
that's all I really know about him.
I don't think I know him except for his last name, which
yeah, I don't know. I think they play some games and play some big limit games. He's a limit player. He's one of the best limit players in the world, like Badoogie, Limit Hold'em. anything where you can't bet more than a certain amount, he's very good at.
Sounds boring.
His no limit hand stories are pretty funny. But
So like I folded something because they bet more than the limit bet.
there's a lot of them have like Jack 3 offsuit as
Oh,
the
okay.
starting part of the
I'm back
story.
in. I'm invested again.
The first time I played the 10K horse, not in the money or anything like that, but day 2, we're like inching close to the money, and like he's on my left, and I check raise the river in a hold'em spot where I had dust, and like he just looks at me as like, if I knew who you were, I would call 100% of the time, but since I don't know you, I'm gonna fold, but I'm gonna feel pretty silly if you show me a bluff. And like he mocked that for like 45 seconds. And of course I showed the bluff because I'm an asshole idiot. And he's like, I knew it. I knew you knew what you were doing. Never again. You're never getting away with this. And like,
Nice.
And he was probably always bluffing and just like tricked you into showing your hand.
Yeah, exactly right. I should have just been like, no, I had the nuts there. Like you got me pegged exactly right. I always have the nuts. Like,
I'm an accountant.
Yeah.
but yeah, I was just like, oh man, they won't see this check raise coming on the river. I was like,
Double your bet.
it's only one more bet with like 19 in the middle. Oh my God.
Yeah, somehow between then and now, I've managed to just be playing poker without too much debt. I don't really know. I don't really know what's happened. There's been some bankrolls. I think I had it up to like 400,000 a couple times.
Jesus.
After that, yeah.
So during COVID, I don't want to get too hard into this if you don't want to or whatever, but you were taken to court. Do you want to get into that at all? We can skip
Oh
past
yeah,
it or
the
just
crew.
edit.
I never really told the crew story.
Yeah, I mean,
Tell the crew story.
Okay, so-
bring us the lawsuit. Let's
Yeah.
bring it all.
So
into
here, the
fold.
way the crew story happens is Dutch would come to town for the World Series of Poker, and I was there like as a dealer or a player that he kind of realized was trying to be good. So we became friends through that. Then Dutch has a deep run and loses against Moneymaker. And here's a good inside story for you guys about the actual hand that Dutch failed against Moneymaker.
I remember the hand on TV, by the way. It was like,
Well, one thing you don't know is it was all my fault.
Oh no.
oh no.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you
I
give him a
definitely
fake
didn't know
read?
that.
A
No,
bad-
I gave him a good read.
Okay.
I was good at tells back then, and he trusted me. I was on the rail watching Moneymaker for tells. And Moneymaker has a weird thing he does where he flares his nostrils when he's weak.
Okay.
Go back and look. He has nostril weird flare. It's like the intensity of him being bluffing or
Like
whatever.
deep breath
No, it's
before he
like
does something
you can
crazy.
See, you can see them move. They
Okay.
like
Yeah.
it's a weird thing, right? So I tell Dutch this with 14, 15 people left in the main event.
When it barely matters.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays I would just be like, I'm keeping all my thoughts to myself because even if they're right, I don't want to be.
You were still right. I'll let you tell the story, but let me just
Yeah.
say, he was still right.
I was
but
right.
continue.
I was right because he was weak. He had threes.
Yep, that's right.
Remember? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dutch, I think, used this tell that I found on the rail and played a hand at where Moneymaker 3-bet maybe with threes.
Yeah.
Moneymaker did something
He
aggressive.
3-bet with threes, which was never, like, you don't 3-bet unless you have jacks or better or ace king or better.
Even now,
Yeah.
you don't like really.
Yeah,
three-bet.
like you're not
Moneymaker
three.
was definitely aggressive. That's
Yeah.
how he did it. And Dutch got it all in with King Queen.
Yeah,
right? Such 4-bets all
Dutch
in
like
huge.
just like 4-bet ripped piles.
King Queen.
Literally piles. And like Moneymaker is
Moneymaker
just like
3-bets,
call.
nostrils flare, nostrils flare, and Dutch says,
All in. How can he call?
yeah.
It was for
and I was right. He was weak. He had fucking
He
three.
still called?
Yeah.
Oh, like he
called.
snap called it, or like the production like made it seem like he snap called anyway.
right.
Huge flip.
Yada yada yada. We're all in. Threes versus King Queen.
I mean,
Yeah.
the look on like Dutch, again, like all that entire that coverage was amazing, but like it was burned in my memory. Like Dutch was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? I was right, and like now I'm flipping for like infinite money right now. This is so frustrating.
Honestly, Justin and I have talked like tells like to some extent, and he tells me kind of what you just said. Like he just kind of keeps it to himself because he doesn't want to be the reason somebody busted because of something he like is pretty confident in, but like it's hard to quantify.
Of all the tells I've described, this was kind of the only one I can remember offhand that was so like weird and unique. tells are not usually like his nostrils flare.
He cracked an Oreo.
His eyes make a surge. Like, no, they're more like, oh,
He does a little dance when he has it.
they're more like, oh, this guy's pounding the table hard when he, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
This guy
He bet
snap
super
look-
fast.
This
Yeah,
guy,
whatever,
This like nostril flare thing is very weird and unique, but I think it was accurate for that particular guy.
It may still be. Moneymaker, we're coming for you.
Moneymaker tour.
Yeah, so in retrospect, it's like you don't want to like affect somebody else's
Sure.
game. But I'm sure in Dutch's mind, he doesn't equate the fault to me at all.
No.
Because you can't like in the moment you made the decision. If you had information that you used, like the fact that I'm the one that brought up that tell, it's probably gone in his mind completely.
I'm just thinking to myself, like if ESPN was zooming on to him when, like, after he got shown the threes, and he was just like, Bartholdi! No!
No, he like looks over at the rail, like, oh,
Son of a bitch!
no, he had fucking threes. I was right.
Yeah, you're still very
I
right.
mean, honestly, like Dutch might have been just like super out of line all the time if he's getting snapped off with threes when he 4-bet piles.
Oh yeah, no.
He definitely was out of line a lot.
They were both maniacs
Yeah.
for sure. So then Dutch gets what, 13th place?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Gets like
yeah, no, he got
56,000.
crumbs, and then like I think he ladders one spot or something like
He
that.
gets
yeah.
like 56,000 or something.
Which is
and then he has another creative before the time idea. He's going to start a poker group.
Yeah.
And he was all focused on publicity. He said poker is booming right now. We're going to, use media and make something out of it. Like he wasn't. It
was planned, then, is what you're saying. Like it was.
He wanted to make us. He wanted to
crazy.
make us
I did not
famous
know
and
that.
use promotion. Yeah, it was part of the talk. And
Cool.
I was in between bankrolls, and I didn't want to go.
I want to use that term. Hopefully I don't, but like I want to use that term one time in my life.
I
Between
didn't.
bankrolls right now.
These weren't like my best friends who I was like, yeah, we're a poker crew, bro. We're gonna do this. I didn't want to go, but I also didn't have any money. And he was like, I'm taking all my money and we're all gonna live in LA and start this poker crew. Kind of had to say yes.
Yeah, no, of course.
Wait, we're taking your money, right? Yeah. You want my money too?
It was
Because it's
either that.
non-existent.
It was either that or get another 20 from my dad to go to the El Cortez. You know, it was like 56K, go to Los Angeles. 20 from Pops, go to the El Cortez.
It ain't 20,000, folks.
$20.
It's
The Andrew
$15
Jackson.
buy-in. It's $20 or it's 15 and 5 for the cab ride home.
Yeah. All right, so you go out there. How big's the crew? Like, I know some of these answers, but like, how deep, and like, give me some of the names that are in
The
there.
crew is Dutch, myself, Brett Youngblood, Dorf. I forgot his real name right now.
I know what you mean. I can envision him.
Yeah. The crew didn't
Scott
have...
Fishman.
No.
Fishman wasn't there yet?
Scott Fishman was my replacement. At some point I left,
Okay.
and then a few months later Scott was kind of...
He
my
mentioned that in the
replacement.
book.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just dawned on me. I apologize. All right.
Who else was there? There was Dutch's brother, Bobby. There was there one other guy? I think that's it. Me, Dutch, Bobby, Dorf.
And that's it.
I
Eventually, Fishman.
feel like there was a Tony in there or no? Like a Lazar?
Oh yeah. The white kid.
Yeah.
Tony Lazar.
I don't want to break it to
Whitey
you, but you're also
Lazard.
a white kid.
No, he was extra white.
He was bright. You shine a light on him.
He was, yeah, Tony Lazar. Yeah. I remember. And
Sorry, I'm a fanboy.
So we moved to LA on Dutch's money. Get a house in what the fuck was that neighborhood? Whatever, somewhere in LA. Doesn't matter too much. And we start having meetings every week to make plans, to study or whatever. We played home games where the winner would get to decide the name of the operation. Dorf fucking won one, and he decided to name us Dogs Playing Poker, like the famous painting. So we all just said no, that's not gonna be it.
Congratulations, but no.
Yeah, you won.
You thought you won.
You
but
won
lost.
you won the home game to name us, and you came up with that. Okay.
Someone else came in with an
Back to
idea.
the drawing table. No, but the whole time we were just calling ourselves the crew anyway. So at some point, we were all just like, well, let's just call it what we were referring to it as. Because we were like, we have this crew. We need a name. We got to name the crew.
Put the in front of it. Booked.
What to name the crew?
So you said no to dogs playing poker, and they punted you right out of the crew, or what?
Yeah, poker was cool and booming at the time. So it's like we were in LA and we were like throwing parties every weekend. And I remember Dutch would search in like Facebook and use the keyword poker and be able to find girls that put in their Facebook profile that their interest was poker. Like that's how booming, like that's how different the times were. You could find girls who thought poker was cool. Yeah, okay. So I remember Dutch would like organize the search by poker and throw parties.
He was just just cast a wide net of girls for.
We got the NBA of poker players here.
That's nuts. All right.
Like, well, okay, this is what we have going for us. We're poker players, so.
This sounds like some really good times, honestly.
We would have meetings, and I would tell everybody, okay, guys, we need to really study and get good. And then the rest of the week would be everyone just smoking weed and playing tons of poker on their laptops. Like there was no
collaboration and no like strategy talks.
Yeah,
and stuff. Okay.
I wish I could tell you we were using advanced computer programs and discussing deep strategies, but no, it was just.
I like the 3-bet. You're crazy.
Yeah, no, there wasn't even much strategic like conversations really. It was just everybody was playing a lot online and.
So how did the LA trip go? I mean, did everyone make money? Or was there like some people that lost and there was some kind of like
our rent was like $4,000 a month. We were like screwed. We rented like a big house and like yeah.
Well, I mean,
plus the parties.
Yeah,
those were a couple.
Did you guys just go to Commerce every day, or like, or just played online?
Playing online a lot. We played some live tournaments. I won a tournament back then, where I had a stem from like marijuana in my eye.
Mm-hmm. What?
Okay. This is like a thought I've been trying to explain. No, there's something about having distress going on that it can actually be good for certain type of people's poker game.
Okay.
Like if you have a tendency to be masochistic and punt off, but now you're dealing with some other like pain or trauma, it distracts you.
Okay.
Okay.
So you found a way to make yourself play tight? In your eye?
No.
If I put a toothpick in my eye, I'll play tight. Is this the gist of it?
We were smoking before at the house. I ashed a bowl by blowing it out, as I often do. But I didn't angle it down enough. And I got ash in my eye, and I was like, oh, shit, I'll take a shower and wash it out. So I take a shower, wash it out. It seems fine. I go to the tournament. We register. The tournament starts. And the most intense pain of my life starts. It turns out, we found out later at the emergency room, that there was a stem that wasn't ash underneath my eyelid, and every time I would blink, it was scratching my eyeball.
Oh, fuck.
But I won the fucking tournament. I had like Middle Eastern guys giving me old wives' tales solutions for this. Yeah. Like people were giving me tea bags to put in my eye, like people were trying all these tricks. I took ibuprofen or whatever. There's a picture of this tournament victory where my eye is bloodshot red.
I guess so. So how far?
That was the crew's first publicity. I won that tournament, and then I got interviewed by what the hell was that guy's name? You probably would know him if I knew the name. But the guy that was doing all the like articles for Card Player or Poker News, whatever, those LA publications about poker.
So, you winning the tournament with a stem in your eye is amazing, but how quickly did you go to the emergency room after the win? It was like, give me your money and I have to go
directly.
Now.
Yeah,
okay.
Directly after I knew something was very wrong.
Jesus Christ.
How much was the win for?
Oh, it was small. I don't know, maybe like 10,000 or something.
Yeah, but still, that was the crew's first victory.
First publicity as the crew, yeah, where we got to write an article, and Brett Youngblood got second.
Oh, okay.
We took first and second in the fucking tournament.
Dude, if I was Brett, I would have fucking tanked my ass off and be like, "How's your eye?"
No,
I know what I'm gonna do, but how's your eye?
We probably made a deal or something. I don't remember. But the crew didn't last that long for me. because I went back to Vegas. I had like a love interest stuff going on. I had
Gotcha.
a girlfriend that I missed, and I kept talking to her when I was in LA. And then at some point, the crew wasn't making a bunch of money. I wasn't making a bunch of money. We were all just playing too much and not really doing anything else.
So
So then I left.
So you weren't kicked out though. You
No.
just decided to do something on your own. Or
Yeah,
no,
I went
whatever.
back to a girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically.
All right.
Yeah.
So, but the next summer though, the crew kind of blew up a little bit as far as like
They
publicity.
started winning.
Yeah,
They started
exactly.
winning
Yeah.
stuff. Yes, after I left, Dutch started winning.
Yeah. Your replacement to what you said,
Scott was winning,
Fishman.
yeah.
Like he won like 2 bracelets.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like I think Brett Youngblood won one, or like got second in one or something like that. So yeah, like ESPN was just all over him. Like it really was. Just like every tournament, it was like, well, the only member of the crew today that's playing is, and then they would list him and like kind of update the
Nice.
stacks.
Yeah, I
and
didn't
stuff
really
like that.
know that. I
mean,
wasn't like watching at that point.
Dude, I wanted to be in your crew so fucking bad.
I
Yeah, I know you
know,
weren't
bro.
technically in there. I didn't know
know.
that until right now, but like still.
I was technically. I started it. I named it. You have to still.
Dogs playing poker was a better name.
I
You know
na-
that.
You were one of the dogs. You were just out. You're getting boarded at the moment.
He's the one that was holding aces with his paw.
Yeah. Okay, so the crew thing, and then what else is there? There's a
Well,
lot, there's a lot of
you made
stuff.
a prop bet with Dutch that do you want to get
yes.
into or whatever?
At some drunken night, a few of us made a 10-year bet.
A bunch of people or just
My
you?
brother-in-law was included
Okay.
in also.
Okay.
Dutch, there might have been a fourth that I don't remember, but most bracelets in the next 10 years.
Which is,
Was your brother-in-law Phil Ivey?
No.
Okay. All right.
but like that's kind of like at least for me anyway. With like my poker friends, I was like kind of like those pipe dream like bets or whatever. Like like I'm sure I'll have more bracelets than you, and like no.
I thought for sure I was going to have
Really?
more
I was,
bracelets.
okay.
Yeah.
So like you guys were just like bravado, like drinking, like no, obviously you suck. I'm really good, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna win more than you. Okay.
No, it was just fun. Like we all thought we would have many hundreds of thousands, so a $10,000 bet wouldn't matter.
Right,
Because
right.
10 years from now, fuck, multi-millionaires, all of us.
Inflation and like whatnot. So like clearly I can make millions of dollars. Okay. So the bet was whoever had the most bracelets owes $10,000 after 10 years. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
By the
And-
way, just as an aside, don't make 10-year bets, guys.
Yeah.
Or even 5-year bets.
I agree.
We have some.
think it was 10 years.
It always ends in controversy. I personally know people. I think one of the people is here that had like 5. Actually, you're not here, but you know who I'm talking about. There's like a 5-year bet about like Russell Wilson versus Garoppolo,
Sure.
like most wins or something. Like it's, and then there's like arbitrary clauses like if he's benched, the bet is over. It's like just like dumb stuff happens that you don't remember 5 years later, and it's like in the moment you agree to it and you don't have any idea what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
I made a housing market bet with someone, I won't use his name also, and I clearly won. Because
Okay.
when I got all the money from the WPT, a lot of first level people were telling me to buy a house. And my actual smart friend said, no, everything's about to crash. So I didn't buy a house. The guy telling me to buy a house made a prop bet with him. Everything crashed, and obviously you never get paid for something like that.
Right, because the people that are betting on that are probably already like in it, leveraged, right? Like it's like I either have a house and I'm going to lose all
Well, by
this
the
money.
time that I wanted to collect, I was broke, so I had no leverage. Like once you're like broke on the rail, and the guy is playing high, and you go up to him and say, "Hey, remember that bet you made?" They just kind of like,
You can slough it off. Yeah.
"Hey, clear the rail. Aren't you like a broke guy?"
Some El Cortez
You
player
kinda
is
have
like
to
touching me
be-
right now.
Yeah,
You're like,
you
yeah, I
kinda
need
have-
that fucking money. That's why I'm bringing it up to you.
That's what they don't tell you about these bets. If you're gonna make
Yeah.
a prop bet like this, you need to have a bankroll to be in the same game with that guy to
No matter what.
embarrass him. Yeah, you can't get broke and expect you're gonna start again by this like
Yeah.
fucking housing market
But
bet.
Yeah, right.
but no matter how good a friend you think you are with a person, I agree with Art. It's just not worth it, guys. Like I'm just, it could sound fun in the moment and
Yeah.
like it's all that fun stuff, but like it's just going to lead to some kind of argument, even if it's for a small amount. It's just
It's
like
all because of that one 80s movie where the rich guys bet $1 on if they can make the homeless
Trading
guy.
Places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because we saw Trading Places and we thought we were going to make cool bets also.
But if you're whatever, when you're whatever age you are, when you're making the bet, you're like, well, clearly we're gonna be friends forever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
clearly we're both gonna have tons of money forever.
Exactly,
so like,
yeah.
why would this ever be an issue?
Yes,
and then
yes.
you're like, you write some notes and you're like, if Russell Wilson dates a pop star, then it's off or whatever.
So
Like, no, I wrote it down. Like, no, seriously. Like,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
And like, clearly, like, whatever. It just leads to arguments, which lead to like friends breaking up and like.
And then
arbitration. It's so
everyone's
stupid.
broke, and they're like, "Well, I'll just try to sue Joe for that 10K."
So,
Yeah, let's get back to the
So-
lawsuit.
yada yada yada. So
Yeah.
you made a bet with Dutch Boyd, who has most bracelets. Dutch Boyd, I think, won 3. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, he went to law school a couple times.
Yeah. He won bracelets, and then he came to collect 2016-ish, somewhere in that range.
I think it was during COVID.
Oh, it's 2020.
A little because we were doing like an online court case.
Okay.
So.
Oh,
But yeah.
okay. And like you were unfortunately broke at the time, and you're like,
Was out of contact with Dutch for years. Didn't stay friends with any of those guys, and then somehow was notified that I was being sued.
wait, before you even got a chance to pay him back?
I mean, we just hadn't talked. We just hadn't talked in years. It was just like the first notification. He never even. It's not like he
What?
reached out to me and said, "Can you pay anything?" Because then I would just be like, "No, I'm broke right now. I'll give you $100 as soon as I can." But like,
What was the bet? So it was most bracelets, 10 years, 10K.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, I'm with you
Nice
so
and
far.
easy to remember.
Easy to
10,
remember.
10.
10, 10, 10, and I'll sue you if you don't pay.
I put in my notes. I said I would sue you.
Yeah, you don't see the asterisk?
But like, this is just crazy to me. He didn't reach out and be like, "Look, I know we have this bet. I know things might be tough for you right now. Just pay me."
There might have been some reaching out like,
still.
"Are you going to pay me?" And I don't have any money right now. And then the next reach out was like, "You have a court case. You must
Summoned.
sign in to www.court.com."
Court.gov.com.
I just don't understand what the goal is or whatever. And like, I'm going to take it aside here just to call out a piece of shit. Not in the poker community.
Oh.
I'm so sorry, but like this is.
Are we doing the Jungle Man thing now?
No. Well, I mean, yes, but like no, but like in real world terms.
Cool.
So like one of my best friends from high school. She's a she. She was in my wedding. She's a great person. She's a teacher. She was married to this guy. My friend did end up cheating on him. Like the marriage was long over for like a year or so. Ended up cheating on him. He found out. Like the marriage was going to die anyway. Didn't matter. And instead of just letting it die, and they had kids, which is sad, and like kind of divvying things up, he was just like, he found this law in North Carolina that they could sue the other man for ruining the marriage. And it's a real law. Like it's like 6 states in the U.S. like actually still adhere to this thing.
I've heard of stuff like that.
Yeah, and like the other guy was another teacher, like making like minimal money,
much
like
to
nothing.
ruin.
And he like sued him for like $2 million. And like his parents have some money or whatever, so he had like a bankroll to like basically just make a big deal of this, which made the local news, the national news, and like I had multiple people text me about it. And he just wanted to fucking shame and smite
Yeah.
them. And he didn't care that he lost money and knew he wasn't going to get paid. He just wanted to make sure everyone knew that this piece of shit touched my wife, even though I didn't touch her for a year.
I'm blaming her for marrying this guy.
Sure, and I,
This guy was already obviously
Yeah.
a fucking.
There should have been signs.
yeah, and I don't disagree with that. Like
I'm gonna
she's
blame
in the
the
wrong.
woman
Like
that
he's in the
married
wrong.
this fucking piece of shit douchebag.
But what a small little man just to be like, my feelings are hurt. I need to make sure everybody knows that this person hurt my feelings. And like the thing is, whatever, sued him for millions of dollars. It was ruled in his
Are
favor.
you really surprised though? I mean, we know many small little men.
No,
in life.
I'm not surprised, but like it's just one of those things.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's fucked up.
And like, but like he knows he's not getting one nickel. But like
Yeah.
all he's doing is
Putting
just
the
in
guy in
case he
debt.
wins the lottery, he'll get $2 million.
Well, he's fucking the guy.
Yeah, he has bad credit.
The guy can never like make it.
They
now.
can never get married. And by the way, they're still together. Those two people, which is
what?
kind of adorable. This is like 10 years ago.
Which 2 people are together?
The person that she cheated on with and,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
my
So
friend.
that was her.
But like they can't get married because like then they share assets and then he can go after her if he wants. Like he's basically fucked both of their lives up, even though they're both madly in love. And like either way, he's a piece of shit. But like suing someone that you know is broke, seems very counterintuitive. It seems very petty to me. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, but you know, my love for Dutch didn't change because my love for Dutch was never based on like, this is my best friend who I totally understand. It was more based on like, this is one of the most interesting characters of my life. Like the amount of genius combined with charisma, combined with like manic, like being a little bit like,
No, he's manic.
disconnected with reality in that way that makes for great characters, you know? So it didn't really make me be like, oh, I hate that guy now. Like my feelings didn't change. But I still appreciate what he is as a character. It was never like my best bro that I trusted to never do something like this. If my brother-in-law Brandon sued me over the bet or something, then I would be like heartbroken because he would never do that. But the fact that Dutch sued me, it makes sense. I've seen Dutch try to sue other people. He went to law school. He's just like, he's kind of sociopathic in that way.
How did it go, by the way, the lawsuit?
The lawsuit was very fun, actually. Seriously.
Was it?
It was during COVID, so I researched. I looked at like previous cases and learned everything I could. And I cited cases when I went to court.
Do you represent yourself?
Yeah, it was just like.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how it works.
It's just like civil.
Oh, okay.
You show up
Judge
and talk
Judy,
to a judge. Yeah, just you put on your camera and you talk to a judge on the internet. But I had like cases and previous history. I like talked to lawyers on the phone. I knew precedent. I had precedent.
Just as a small aside, did you ever see that like video of the judge and the plaintiff and the defendant, and one of the lawyers can't figure out how to turn off he has like a dog filter on, so he looks like a dog.
No.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
I saw that, yeah.
Dude,
I saw that.
You have to see it. I will send it to you.
What a weird aside.
It's never going to come up.
Yeah.
It's never going to come up otherwise. But there's a hilarious meme / YouTube video where a judge is like pleading the case, or not a judge, a plaintiff is pleading the case for his client, and the judge is like, you know, you have a dog thing on right now, and he's like, yeah, I know, but like, I don't know how to turn it off. All right. Anyway, sorry for the aside. That's really the entire thing.
I know that video. Yeah.
I feel like I need to see this.
You definitely need to see it.
So when Dutch sued me, I've always liked court proceeding stuff. I've always had some kind of weird affinity for it. Like if I had to go for a traffic ticket and you have to sit there and watch the other cases, I've always liked that.
Okay.
Like, so when he sued me and being able to like plead my own case and do my own research, I enjoyed it. And the funny part of it was that the judge, hearing me try to be all nerdy and deep about it, just was like, shut the fuck up. Like, she didn't care at all. She was like, she's not used to dealing with anyone going deep, you know? She's just like, everyone's just all ghetto and like, I didn't take that money.
What traffic ticket?
Yeah, no, I showed up like, no, there was a case in 1987. I would like to cite precedents. And she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'll have my decision tomorrow, goodbye. And I was like, all my hard research for nothing, right? But then she sided with me.
Oh.
She probably took my cases that I cited and used them, but didn't tell me. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you were cleared.
Yeah, I was cleared.
Nothing owed.
Nothing owed, yeah. So apparently, if you make a verbal bet, you know, I was trying to cite that like, if Dutch wanted me to pay this money, he would be like an illegal casino, basically.
Oh,
he
okay.
can't accept bets like this. That's illegal.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but whatever she decided, she was just like, I'm not gonna make you pay $10,000 for this stupid bet.
Quit wasting my time, guys.
Dutch was trying to make it like as if it was a job that I agreed to do. Like as if when you hire somebody, like we had a contract, basically.
Either I
But
do
there's no
this and
contract.
pay you,
Yeah,
or you do this and I
he
pay
tried
you.
to turn it into contract law, and I tried to turn it into like, you know, if you want to be a casino, you need a gaming license.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, the judge lady was just,
She's not expecting any
she
of that.
didn't listen to either of us.
Shut up, guys.
She was like, what are these fucking weirdos
Was it notarized? What was notarized? The contract. There was no contract. Get the fuck out of my courtroom.
She was
Stop
just
wasting my
some
time.
grumpy bitch. Yeah, I hope you're watching this, lady. You're a grumpy
She actually
bitch.
is. Like, it's grumpy bitch 6969. She actually comments everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care that she sided with her. I wanted her to respect my research and think like the movies, like, oh wow, this guy really, that's an interesting.
You can't handle the
This
truth.
guy. I didn't think of it.
talking
I
to?
wanted her to say, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, she was like, "Fucking quit annoying me."
Exactly. It's
One of
just
you
like,
guys
what?
pay.
It's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
That's really funny.
All right. Well,
That's
now
pretty
that we
good.
have that,
I like
in the
all those
past.
stories. All right, so we've talked about past and present, Joe. So what do you got on the horizon? Anything you're looking forward to? Anything you're trying to promote?
No, not really promoting anything. Future is, poker is. What are you doing? Are you still playing poker?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to beat good players while having fun at the same time.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
We all
Yeah.
want to grow into like being Eric Seidel, right?
Yeah, no fucking kidding.
If
yeah,
you can do
yeah.
it, I can do
Well,
it, right?
yeah, he's
You'll
got
never
a big
be
brain.
Eric
I mean, I guess we all
Your
have big
hairline,
brains.
it's fucking glorious. You're never gonna be hairless. You're gonna just grow forever.
The gray, it's
Fine.
Yeah, I like how poker, like when I played the NAPT recently at the resorts, it really felt more like a world-class chess tournament.
Yeah.
As far as like, we had like smart people from all over the world there. And it's fun now. Poker's kind of more fulfilling now. Instead of just like playing tight against gamblers who are giving you money, it feels more like we're a part of a sophisticated game where it's really competitive and you have to compete. So
That's interesting. I wasn't expecting you to say
Neither,
that. Like
yeah.
it's
no, I like to see the change. It's
so
like,
it's like more strategic now, like tactical.
Yeah,
me
it's-
versus you instead of
yeah,
somebody
I
give
mean,
us the money.
I've always been up to date on like what's going on in poker strategy, and now that it's obviously a lot harder, but it's also a lot more fulfilling to actually be good. And the kids that are like studying GTO a lot, they still are not that good.
No,
they still
I agree
punt
with
their
that.
chips away.
Yeah, I mean,
And, like,
almost.
they still call when they're never good against the random guy in the tournament.
This is one of those things that like I'm hesitant to bring up on a podcast, but it's like if somebody is like super studied and they're really good online, but like then they show up and it's like a spot where it's like a polar spot, basically. You're either always bluffing, always have it. Like those are the two options. Like if you haven't put in the miles at the felt, so to speak,
Yeah.
it's like a seasoned vet is going to be able to look at you and tell which one it is.
Yeah.
Like which side of the poles you're on. Like if it's like, oh, this guy's always bluffing here because looking at me, fucking looks like he
Yeah.
shit his pants.
No, I guess another way to say it is like they play pretty good against me.
Yeah.
But they still give their chips away to bad players too often.
Sure. Against a guy who's never bluffing.
And
Like,
when
'cause they're
I'm
not
playing,
playing-
when I'm playing my A game, I won't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Okay, I get it. I get it.
I think
Yeah.
that's fair. Like they expect everyone to play this avenue of game theory or whatever. And
Yeah.
then when they play against bad players, like, well, you're never supposed to check raise middle pair in this spot. I don't understand what he's doing, so I have to call with third pair and like whatever. And then
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
down that rabbit hole of like, clearly. No one does that except he's 62 and had 4 scotches and he's fucking, like
Yeah.
and then
he has a
Joe's
dinner
looking
to get
over at
to.
him, and
Like-
he's there's like this guy's facing this bet, and it's like I don't care what you have, man. You should just fucking fold.
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Old school poker is pretty boring, and there's just like a lot of hands where it's like very clear exactly what they have. And
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, so we're going to see on the tournament streets then coming up. What's your next series you're kind of looking forward to, or next tournament?
Not sure. Kind of just as they come up.
Hmm. Gotcha.
But yeah.
You can see how the El Cortez is going.
No, they don't have a game
I
anymore.
don't think they have a casino anymore.
They don't have.
And Pop stopped winning 100 a long time ago.
Yeah.
El Cortez is where I stayed. I played my first main event was 2004, and I stayed at the El Cortez and made that walk down to Binion's. And like there was 4 blocks that were very, very scary to walk through with $10,000 in your pocket. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like I literally went down there. I played the 10-20 all night the day before I was playing the main event, and I didn't want to go back to my hotel because I was like I won like 5K in like the 10-20. I was like I have like 15K in my pocket, so I better reg now. And then I was like, no, I don't even walk with the 5K. Like,
No, you were fine. As long as you don't go past the El Cortez.
right?
That
yeah.
whole area is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were vacant lots with
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is old.
Oh, okay,
Before they built it up at
before
all, it was
the
nothing.
lights, before the light
there was
show, yeah.
nothing. It was dirt lots with tires and random dogs. It was not fun.
Yeah, so the future is like, I'm just like a working class professional poker player now. I'm winning online. WSOP is small but very easy. I'm winning in cash games. Mostly try to play late at night because the day shift games are brutal now. So you just
The nerds are awake. Can't be playing when the nerds are awake.
Mostly it's just like tight. People have gotten a lot
They're all
tighter.
fucking.
People have got a lot tighter.
Sorry.
What did you say?
No, I said all the nerds are fucking at night. It was more of a joke.
Dude, some of those poker nerds are all fucked up on drugs now. Like Vegas, like you see this, like there's this generation of like poker nerds that came here and like, I'm a poker player now, and they're just like acid and cocaine and like there's you should get some of them on the podcast.
I feel like we
You know
might
what I'm
have
talking
one.
about?
You ever done acid or cocaine?
No.
One day we will.
Where can do you have like a social media
No,
following?
I don't really do anything.
You have
on social
nothing?
media, no, yeah.
Good for you.
All right, well just follow us then, guys.
Yeah.
And we
Get on WSOP.com, try to guess the screen name, and try to play them.
That's right. And if
if everyone wants to follow me on X on Joseph Bartholdi,
there you go.
I'll start doing more on there.
There you go.
There you go.
We can do that.
I'll participate a little bit.
All right. He'll
All right.
participate, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
Is that the
Seriously,
pot?
that was fun. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, this is good, dude. Appreciate you.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
We're
a look.
trying to, can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking. Me and my buddy, we working hard for